All right, guys, let's get started. I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on this week's essay assignment. So let me go to my screen here. Before we begin, I know some of the issues I sent yesterday were a little controversial, but that's kind of the point. I want you to argue a issue that has both one and two sides to it. And so that's sort of the point. But if you don't like the list I gave you, you can go to procon.org and pick any of these that you like, right? So there's science, technology, politics, education, health and medicine. There's the most popular one. There's elections. There's world and international. There's sex and gender. There's entertainment and sports. Okay, so you can pick any of these. The only thing I will say is I don't want you guys doing anything on drugs, and it's not because of the issue itself. It's just it's been overdone, right? Vaping, it's been overdone. Marijuana, it's been overdone, right? But anything that you want to do, you can pick that topic if you'd like. Okay, this is also a good website to go because I'm going to show you the one I've been working on. It gives you pro and con, right? So I have pro on one side, con on the other. And what's particularly awesome about this website is I can read this here and it has footnotes. So if you read here, look at this footnote. If I click on it, it'll give me the primary source, right? So if I wanted to go get the primary source, I can just highlight this and Google it, which is what I did, and here it is, right? So that's pretty awesome. You can do that, and then that'll make your research a lot better. I want you to notice a couple things in my example, right? I have my materials on one side, I have my materials on the left-hand side, and then I have my essay on the right-hand side, right? That way, if I need to grab something and put it on my essay, I can just grab it and put it on there. And I know the setup for your computer might be a little bit different, but the idea here is I have the things that I need are open and my essay is open. So what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to work with this, right? Because if you're working with this, you got nothing to put on your essay, you got no ingredients. You're just kind of trying to figure out, all right, well, what can I do? Right? But in this setup, I have my essay open and I have everything I need. I have one tab open, then this tab open, and this tab open, and this tab open. So I can toggle back and forth between what I need and go back to my essay, right? Okay. So once I have my topic, think about your essay or think of your essay as a math problem. Once you have your topic, you have the answer to your math problem. And so all I need is to show my work. So my answer to my problem is right here. It's in my thesis, right? And this is a long thesis because I wanted to show you kind of like a college type thesis, okay? I have that. So before I started anything else, I know I have my hookup here, but before I started anything else, I'm showing you the answer to my problem, okay? So I picked minimum wage should be raised to a living wage, and I put this in quotations because living wage means different things to different people, right? And I'll get to that in a second. But with my thesis, so if you remember, the thesis is the main idea of your essay. It's what's going to drive your essay. Coke is better than Pepsi, Nike is better than Adidas, okay? Right, so I have my thesis here. Should minimum wage be raised? Yes, because doing so would provide an economic boost. As stated in a 2013 report by Economic Policy Institute, raising the minimum wage would not only provide immediate benefits to the workers whose incomes would rise, but positively affect the macroeconomy as well. David Cooper, the author of the report, wrote that despite those who argue against the increase of minimum wage, research over the past 2 decades has shown, quote, modest increase in the minimum wage have little to no negative impact on jobs. So, right, that is part of my thesis. Now, if you notice, there's a lot of typos. There's right here, the R should be lowercase, there should be commas, but I got it on paper, right? It's on paper, it's ready to go. And then I stated my answer. So I turn my thesis into a question. I answer the question right here, right? That's why a rhetorical question is kind of lazy, because that's the technique I'm using here. But you know what? It's getting my thoughts on paper, right? And then the other thing that I immediately did is I started to cite my sources. That creates credibility for your paper. And the other thing that I did here is I immediately addressed the counterpoint, right? Because again, that creates credibility to your paper. And then this only backs up my claim. This second part here is only backing up my claim, right? Yes? So that's my thesis. That's what I'm going to be working on. Does yours have to look this elaborate? No, but I wanted to show you what I'm working with. Now I need my thesis, and I told you we're going to get back to this. Living wage can mean different things to different people, right? Your living wage might mean I could afford a 4-bedroom house, and I can have 2 cars, and I can have a boat or jet skis, and my living wage could just be I can afford a townhouse with 2 bedrooms and 1 car, right? So that is an abstract definition. So I'm going to use my hook to address that, right? Before starting this essay, it is important to establish how this paper will define the term living wage. Since this might be an abstract example for many people, this paper will not define it. It will simply suggest that a living wage depends on states, county, or city. Again, what it's trying to tell you here is that, look, if I live in New York City, okay, and I'm making what the government says minimum wage is, that's about $30,000 a year. Can I live with $30,000 in New York City? No, right? Because that city is expensive. But might I be able to live with that kind of money if I lived in, let's say, Iowa or Kansas? I don't know, maybe, right? So that's what the research, that's where you need to do your research. But again, that's how I'm defining living wage, right? It's this idea that it depends on where you live, right? Because 31,000 for a household of 2, it might be enough in places like Iowa, but it's definitely not going to be enough in New York, okay? So now that I've addressed those 2 things, I can start to make this look like an introductory paragraph and go from there, right? So that's my intro. I have everything I need. So then in my second paragraph, I'm going to make my claim. I'm going to back it up with evidence, which is a direct quotation, and then followed by attribution. So who said it? Where did you get it? Okay? Who said it? Where did you get it? And then your reasoning, right? This is important because, okay? And then your next paragraph is your counterclaim, right? And so we did the counterclaim up here, but we're just going to sort of reinforce it down here with an example, right? So your counterclaim. And there's a lot of ways that you can start your counterclaim. There's a lot of stems you can use. Some may argue. There are those who say, okay, or opponents say. So there's numerous ways that you can start your counterclaim. But then you're going to show their evidence, right? So I'm going to go back to what I showed you, right? Here. So I'm going to see how I have everything ready to go. I don't have to look for it. I'm not scratching my head like I don't know what to do, right? Okay. So pros and cons, right? A study from, let me see, I'm going to try to pick one. I saw one earlier today. Now I don't know what happened to it. There you go, right? So the Congressional Budget Office, right? So what they're saying here is that it will create job loss, right? And I can read more. I can click on it and I can get the original source. I can get the primary source if I click on these little numbers, right? So some might argue or say, right, that lifting the minimum wage would result in job loss. Okay? And then my evidence would kind of show this, show something like this, right? The Congressional Budget Office. Obviously, I would want to know when. When did they say this, right? Because if it's old, if it's new, that matters. So I'm going to click on this and try to figure out when they said it. So it's number 5. All I would do is, oh, they said it in 2013. So that's fairly new, right? So then I'm going to use that. Congressional Budget Office in 2013 said, okay, and then I'm going to go back, see if I can close this. Doesn't look like I can. Right? 6. Anyway, you get the idea, right? So then said this move of raising the minimum wage would result in, and then you keep going from there. Now your reasoning, again, this is counterclaim. This is the counterclaim. So your reasoning would be, again, right here, you're telling me why this side is wrong. And that might look something like this. Even though those figures might appear to be I don't know, what word can we use here? Might appear to be daunting. So daunting is just another word for fear, or they might seem like it's a lot. Okay, it is important to note that, okay, the benefits outweigh the negative impacts. Okay, and I might want to elaborate on this a little more, but I've said it here, right? That's why my intro is a little long, because I'm addressing those things. And then that's it. All you need after that is your conclusion. And in my conclusion, I'm restating the thesis. Okay. Restating the thesis, which is you're restating your main idea. Okay. And then you're doing a closing sentence. Because this is an argument essay, your closing sentence could be a call to action. Okay. And if you want to tie it to what's going on with the pandemic, or if you want to say why you chose this side, obviously don't use personal pronouns, but this could be a call to action. So if I'm writing this, I might say something like, for this reason, it is important to raise, it's important to raise the minimum wage because, and the reason why I'm not finishing this is because I want you to see that these gaps, most of these gaps is your thinking, right? So it's what you are taking away from the research, what you think about the research, and showing me, the reader, how that research impacts what you're trying to say, right? That's why reasoning is very difficult for students, because we can do claim, we can do evidence, but reasoning, that's where your thinking needs to come into play. Okay, and that's my essay. Look, it's not perfect. It needs to be proofread. I need to finish it, but I have the skeletal structure ready to go. And after I'm done with everything, after I've read it a couple times, after I cleaned up my typos and filled all this in, all I need to do now is I need to go, and on the same page, I can do my works cited page. Okay, do my works cited page. And some of you guys know how to do works cited on Word. If you can do it that way, that is awesome. I still don't know how to do that, because ever since I was in college, all I know how to do is I'll produce. So I have 2 sources of information. This is one. Okay, I'm going to click on the link, right? I'm going to Google Purdue MLA. I'm going to click on it. So let me shrink this here, right? And this should look familiar to everybody, okay? It's a website. I'm going to click on the link here, cite it. And remember, the first one you get for free, and then the second one you have to watch a short video, and then it'll let you keep going. So if you have more than 2 sources and you get an ad, you can sit there and watch it, or you can go grab water and then come back. Right, so it found the article. I'm going to select it. I'm going to scroll down, and then I'm going to click Final Step. And it's got everything. So right here, you can add things if you wanted to, but I wouldn't. I don't need to. Then I'm going to create a citation. Here's where a lot of you guys mess up. I'm going to copy this, but if I copy it, it's going to copy this rectangle here with a yellow or orange shading. So when I paste it, it's going to look way off. So number one, the mistake you guys make is, where's my cursor right now? It's in the middle. I need to make it go left, right? And so I can do Control L, which is what I love shortcuts, okay? Or I can go here to my paragraph and click left. Now I can paste it, but when I paste it, if I go here, I'm going to go keep source formatting. I don't want to do that, right? Because it's going to keep this format, and I don't want that. Match formatting, it's going to merge with the new one, okay? And that's the one you should pick, because if it merges with the new one, it's still going to have the MLA format. It's still going to have the quotes. It's still going to have the italics. If I keep text only, because that was my other option, it's only going to keep the text, but it's not going to have the italics in the right place, the quotes in the right place. Okay? And I only need one. Okay? No, did I say 2 sources? Yeah, I said 2 sources. So then I'm just going to go, okay, to my second source. And that one's right here. Click on the link, copy, right? I'm going to copy this link, so I'm going to shrink this for a little bit. And then I'm going to go back to my Purdue. Then I'm going to paste the other one. I'm going to cite it. It's going to, okay. Oh, it didn't ask for a website. It didn't force me to watch an ad, which is good. I'm going to click select. Then I'm going to go to final step. And there it is. And then I'm going to create citation. Oh, see, there you go. It says view a sponsored message once for every 48 hours or pay. Obviously, I'm not going to have you pay. So I'm just going to watch it.
Citation Machine Plus lets you scan for accidental plagiarism, check your grammar, automatically generate citations in the style you need. Upload your paper now.
Okay, so now it's done. I can create citation. And there it is. Okay, there it is. I'm going to copy it, right? Now, this is David Copper or Cooper. Copper? Okay. I don't know. I think it's David Cooper. David Cooper. He needs to go before Eric. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name, but that name starts with an R. So MLA says I need to do things alphabetically. So Cooper goes first, right? So now I'm going to shrink this back. Okay, and then I am going to paste. Not keep source formatting, because that keeps the original. I don't want the original with the funky little rectangle square. I want to match. And there you go. It's matched. Okay. And I have my works cited. The only thing left to do is to make this Times New Roman, which it is. I have a title, I have a heading, Times New Roman 12-point font. The only thing left to do is make this 2 double space. Right? So now it looks like an essay. You see that? And I have my works cited. Do I need to double space my works cited page? No. But my essay, absolutely. Times New Roman, 12-point font, and then works cited. Since we're doing it on the same page, make this bold. And that's it. Okay, and I would just get rid of this. Okay, works cited. So that's what your essay should look like. If you have any questions, guys, any comments, any concerns, remember from 10 to 11 a.m. Monday through Friday, you can go to Teams. On the top right-hand corner, you can see. So let me see if I can pull this up right now. Right. So if I go to Teams, right, from 10 to 11 every day, you can go to Teams, and if you click on, I'm trying to buy time here, so let me get a sip of water. You can click on, go to your class, and then click up here on the right hand corner. You click on this, it'll call me on my phone, and I'll pick it up, and we can either do FaceTime if you want, or we can just chat like in a regular phone call. Okay, I hope this video helps. I'm putting this as a new assignment to help those who want to get their grades higher. But we'll go from there. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for tolerating this tutorial. It went a little longer than I thought, but at least we covered a lot of the bases. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.